My child, stop scrolling, stop moving, stop the noise inside your head for just one moment, and listen to me now. What I am about to say cannot wait. Not until tonight, not until the weekend, not until you feel more ready, more rested, or more certain that you deserve to hear this. I am speaking now because this is the moment I chose before you ever arrived here. And if you let it pass without receiving it, you will not find this same intersection again. You are not here by accident. You did not stumble across these words. You did not find this message. This message found you. That distinction matters more than you realize. Because I do not scatter my voice carelessly into the world. I speak with precision. I speak with purpose. And right now, in this exact moment of your life, I am speaking directly into the place where you are standing. Do not treat this casually. Do not let these words become background noise. Do not allow your mind to slide into the habit of consuming without receiving. Because what I am about to tell you is not content. It is not inspiration. It is not a voice trying to entertain you or add comfort to a comfortable life. This is truth reaching you before something inside you goes completely quiet. I know the resistance you feel right now. I know the part of you that is already preparing a reason to disengage, already scanning for the exit, already telling yourself that you have heard messages like this before. I know how disappointment teaches people to protect themselves by holding new things at a distance. I see that defense in you. I understand why it is there, but I am asking you, with urgency that comes from love, and not from impatience, to lower it. Just for now. Just long enough to hear what I have come to say. There are seasons when I speak softly. There are seasons when I whisper in the quiet moments and let you sense me at the edges of your ordinary days. But there are other moments, like this one, when the cost of silence on my part becomes too high. When what I see ahead of you requires me to interrupt you, not to disturb you, not to frighten you, but to stop you before the drift carries you somewhere you never intended to go. This is one of those moments you are standing at a turning point, not tomorrow. Not in 6 months when circumstances shift right now. In this season, in this week, in this exact chapter of your life. You may not have named it yet. You may have been too busy keeping things together to step back and see the shape of where you are. But your soul knows. That quiet unease you carry, that low-level tension that follows you from morning to night, that sense that something needs to change but you cannot quite name what it is, that is not anxiety without cause. That is discernment. That is the part of you that recognizes you are standing somewhere significant. And I am here because you cannot afford to stand here indefinitely. If you are satisfied with where you are, I understand. Skip this. Move on. Return to whatever you were doing before these words interrupted you. I am not here to disturb a life that is whole, but if your heart is tired in a way that sleep cannot reach, stay. If your soul feels hungry even when your days look full from the outside, stay. If there is a weight inside you that has no single name, that does not come from one obvious source, but simply lives in you like a permanent low hum, stay. If you have been telling yourself that later will be better, that next season will be the season you finally deal with what you have been avoiding, that when things settle, you will return to yourself, stay, because later has already become a place where nothing changes. And I love you too much to let you keep walking in that direction without saying something. This message is not for everyone. Not everyone is ready to hear truth that requires something of them. But you are still here, and that means something. Staying is not accidental. Something in you recognized these words were worth stopping for. Something deeper than curiosity held you here. That is not nothing. That is the beginning of something real. I see the exact place you are standing in your life. I see the choices forming quietly around you. I see the habits slowly shaping a future you have not consciously chosen. I see what lies ahead if things continue as they are. And I see what is possible if you turn toward me now. Both roads are real. Only one leads where you were created to go. Do not listen to these words with only the surface of your mind. Let them go deeper. Let them reach the places you have learned to guard. Let them touch what you have been carrying alone for longer than you should have had to carry it. Because this is not the moment for polite distance between us. This is the moment for truth. My child, I see you. Not the version of you that faces the world each day. Not the composed, capable, moving forward version that most people encounter. I see the version that exists in the quiet hours. The version that sits with the weight of everything after the day has finally ended. The version that drops the performance the moment no one is watching. I see that version, and I am speaking to that one right now. I have seen the nights when sleep would not come, when your mind refused to be still, when the silence of the room became louder than the noise of the day. I have watched you lie in the dark and recalculate, rethink, revisit conversations and choices, and moments that refuse to leave you alone. I have been there in those hours when 3 a.m. feels like the loneliest place on earth, when the rest of the world seemed to be resting, and you were still awake carrying something too heavy to put down. I have seen how you smile when the world is watching. I have watched you perform wholeness for other people because you did not want to burden them, because you did not want to appear weak, because you have played the role of the one who is fine for so long that you are no longer sure what you would say if someone truly asked, and you truly answered. I have seen the way you laugh at the right moments, give the right answers, hold yourself together in the presence of others, and then feel the exhaustion of all that effort the moment you are alone. I have heard the prayers you whispered when you had nothing formal left to offer. Not the organized prayers, not the careful words arranged in proper order, the ones that came out broken, incomplete, more like sighs than sentences, the ones you sent up in the dark and waited to feel something in return, and the silence that followed felt like an answer you were not ready to receive. I heard those prayers, every single one. They did not fall into empty space. They reached me. I have watched you try. I want you to hear that clearly. I have watched you try, not once, not twice, but over and over with a persistence that most people would have abandoned long ago. You tried to rebuild what broke. You tried to find your footing again after the ground shifted. You tried to move forward after the loss, the betrayal, the disappointment that changed the shape of things. I saw every attempt. I saw every effort that went unseen by the people around you, and I need you to know that trying, even when trying did not produce the results you needed, was never wasted in my sight. I have felt the exhaustion you have been carrying quietly, not the tiredness of a long day, the deeper exhaustion, the kind that lives underneath the surface, the kind that makes you wonder how you will find the energy to keep going at the same pace, under the same pressure, without something somewhere changing, the exhaustion of being strong when you did not feel strong, the exhaustion of holding things together when everything in you wanted to stop and say, I cannot do this without help, I cannot carry this alone. You were never meant to carry it alone. That is the truth I need you to receive, not as a kind phrase, not as a comfort you collect and then set aside, as the actual lived reality that changes how you move through this season. You were not designed for isolation. You were not created to function as your own sustainer, your own restorer, your own source. The weight you have been carrying with only your own strength was never the weight you were meant to carry that way. I have seen the emptiness that follows you. It is not loud. It does not announce itself with drama. It is the quiet kind, the kind that appears in the in-between moments when you finish one task and before you begin another, when the distraction runs out and the stillness moves in a low ache, a sense that something is missing that you cannot name precisely. You try to address it with activity, with entertainment, with doing more and filling every available space with something, and for a time the ache quiets. But it returns, because it is not a problem that can be solved by addition. It is a signal. It is your soul telling you that what you have been filling yourself with is not the same as nourishment. I have seen you manage days instead of living them. I have watched you become expert at functioning while empty. You wake, you move, you respond to what needs responding to, and somewhere in the middle of all that motion the question rises up, is this it? Is this the shape of the life I was meant to live? And you push the question down because there is no time to sit with it. But the question does not disappear. It waits in the stillness before sleep. It surfaces in conversations that go deep enough to touch something real, then retreats when the conversation ends and life resumes. You have learned to live around that question rather than with it, and that strategy has cost you more than you realize in the slow dimming of something that used to burn brighter. I have seen how you have learned to protect yourself by lowering your expectations. You discovered at some point that hoping too much leads to pain, so you made adjustments. You softened your prayers. You shrank the size of what you allowed yourself to ask for. You adjusted your vision downward until what remained felt safe enough to want without risking too much. You told yourself this was maturity, but you were also slowly closing the same door that your joy lived behind. Protection became limitation without a ceremony to mark the moment it changed. The walls you built to keep pain out also kept the fullness out. And now you live in something technically safe but not alive in the way you were meant to be alive. I have seen the grief you carry for things that did not unfold the way you imagined. The quiet grief. For a version of your life you held in your mind for years that is no longer the version you are living. For a door that closed, for a dream that faded, for the person you thought you would be by now, and the gap between that person and the one looking back at you in the mirror on ordinary mornings. Gratitude does not dissolve grief. Both can live in the same heart without one canceling the other. The part of you that grieves the unlived is not ungrateful. That part is honest. And honesty is where healing begins. I have seen the inner hunger you have tried to silence. You have fed it with distractions, with routines, with temporary comforts. But hunger cannot be fooled. It knows the difference between nourishment and noise. Your soul has been asking for truth, for meaning, for connection, for something real. And when it did not receive those things, it grew quiet, not satisfied, tired of asking. That hunger is not a malfunction. It is the most honest thing inside you. It is the signal that you were made for more than what you have been living on. Shallow souls do not hunger this deeply. Hearts without purpose do not ache this persistently. The very depth of what you feel is evidence of the depth of what you were made for. Here is what I need you to hear about the seasons that felt like abandonment. My timing is not your timeline. My preparation is not your delay. The seasons of your life that felt like pauses were not interruptions to your story. They were part of it. The waiting that felt like wasted time was doing something in you that the arriving could not do. You were not behind, you were becoming. Think of the one who sat in a prison with every visible reason to conclude that the promise spoken over his life was a lie. Years in that cell, the wrongful placement, the unrewarded faithfulness. From the outside it looked like abandonment, but the cell was not the end of his story. It was the preparation for the position. What looked like punishment was actually education in a classroom that could not have been replicated anywhere else. Your wilderness has had the same function, the patience built through waiting, the compassion built through suffering, the wisdom built from questions that had no easy answers. None of that is wasted. All of it is investment. Look at my hand reaching toward you now. Do you see the marks? Do not look away from them. These are not symbols of weakness or defeat. They are the proof of the distance I traveled to reach you. Every scar is a testimony. Every mark is a declaration. I went that far for you. I paid that price specifically because your return to life was worth it. These marks are not wounds that still hurt. They are signs that the cost was met and the victory was secured. They are evidence that there is nothing between you and the life you were created for that has not already been dealt with. I am not holding the marks against you. I am holding them toward you. Reach toward me. You do not need to feel ready. You do not need to have resolved your doubts first. You do not need perfect faith or a perfectly ordered life. You simply need to reach. That is the entire requirement. Reach. Even if your hand trembles, even if the reaching feels more desperate than faithful. There was a woman who pressed through a crowd with nothing left, but a desperate belief that contact with the source of her healing was possible. She did not stand at a distance deciding if she was ready enough. She reached, and power moved the moment contact was made. The power did not wait for her to be worthy. It moved the moment she reached. You are in a crowd right now. There is noise around you. There are distractions, and I am here, right here, closer than the distance between your heart and the next beat. Reach toward me. The reaching is the turning. The turning is the beginning. The beginning is already underway. Let yourself feel the warmth now as you receive these words. Something is shifting. The weight that has been pressing on the back of your neck, the tightness that lives in your chest when you think about what you are carrying, the low-level tension that has become so familiar you barely notice it, it is beginning to move. Not because of effort, not because you have said the right words or performed the right actions, because presence changes things, because I am here and where I am welcomed, what has been heavy becomes lighter, and what has been dark receives light. Breathe, let the breath come deeper than usual. Notice the quiet available underneath all the noise of your circumstances. It is not far. It is not conditional on your circumstances resolving first. It is available right now, in the middle of everything that has not yet changed, because peace does not wait for problems to end. It is the ground underneath the problems, the foundation that holds even when the structure above it shakes. You are not broken. You are not the sum of what went wrong. You are not defined by the gap between where you are and where you hope to be. You are not the disappointments you experienced, or the failures you carry, or the versions of yourself you are not proud of. You are hungry, and hungry means alive. Hunger means there is still desire, still capacity, still something inside you that knows there is more, and has not yet accepted that the more is out of reach. Indifference would concern me far more than hunger. Numbness would be the harder condition, but you are not numb, you are aching, and aching can be transformed into something entirely different when the ache is brought to the right source. I am not distant. I am not waiting for you to earn your way back. I am not standing at the end of a process of self-improvement, prepared to acknowledge you when you have gotten yourself sufficiently together. I am here in this moment. In this conversation, speaking directly into the specific condition of your specific life, because that is how I work. Not in generalities, not from a distance, up close, personal, present. You are not invisible to me. You have never been invisible. Not in the nights when you felt most alone. Not in the seasons when you performed your way through days without anyone seeing what the performance was costing you. Not in the moments of doubt that you kept to yourself because sharing them felt like a risk you could not afford. In every single one of those moments I saw you. I was present in the room with you even when you did not sense me. I was carrying the weight of what you were carrying with you. Even when you did not know you were not carrying it alone. You are not forgotten. You are not the one who slipped through the cracks. You are not the exception to the rule of grace. You are not too far removed from the life you were meant to live, that returning to it is no longer a realistic option. You are standing right now, in a moment I prepared precisely for you, a moment that holds the possibility of genuine change. My child, right now, in this very moment as you receive these words, something is beginning. Not tomorrow when you feel more ready, not next week when things settle. Not after you have processed everything. Right now, in the middle of the uncertainty, in the middle of the weariness, in the middle of the questions that do not yet have answers, something is beginning. Even now, the chains that have held you in patterns you never chose are beginning to weaken. The grip of the fear that has kept you from moving is beginning to loosen. The heaviness that has settled over your sense of possibility is beginning to lift. Not because you earned it, because I am moving on your behalf. And I do not wait for you to be ready before I act. I move first. Your response comes after the movement, not before it. The circumstances you see around you have not been abandoned to chance. What looks like chaos from your vantage point has not been invisible to me. Every closed door you encountered I saw. Every delay that frustrated you I understood what it was doing. Every relationship that ended, every opportunity that shifted, every plan that fell apart differently than you constructed it. None of those things happened outside of my knowledge or without purpose in my hands. What looked like disorder was actually reconfiguration. What felt like loss was often removal. What seemed like punishment was frequently protection. You were not being punished in those seasons. You were being prepared. And right now, the preparation that happened in those seasons is meeting the moment it was designed for. The patience built through waiting, the depth carved through suffering. The resilience only possible in people who came through seasons. They were not sure they would survive. All of that is meeting this moment. This is your turning point, not in the past, not in the future. Here. Now I am asking you to respond with what you have, not with what you wish you had. I am not asking for great faith. I am asking for honest faith. The kind that says, I do not fully understand, but I am turning toward you rather than away from you. I am not asking for a perfectly assembled life. I am asking for an open hand, a willing heart, A choice to stop pretending this is fine and start being honest about what you actually need. That honesty is the door, and the door is open. Do not let what you heard today become another thing you consumed and set aside. A genuine turning, a real opening, a decision made right now to stop carrying what you were never meant to carry alone. Every person who has ever walked into something genuinely new started exactly where you are, feeling the weight of what had accumulated and the pull of what was possible, and choosing, in the middle of incomplete information and imperfect circumstances, to step toward what was real rather than staying where it was safe. You are not behind, you are right here. And this moment is enough to start from. Receive what is being released toward you right now. Healing for the places that have been wounded and not yet tended. Not the healing that comes after years of discipline and self-improvement. The healing that comes from presence. That healing is moving toward you right now. Peace for the mind that has not rested. Not the peace of circumstances resolving. The peace that holds even when the surface is still turbulent, available right now, in the middle of everything that has not yet changed. Clarity for the next step. Not all the answers. Enough light to move. That is how I guide. One step at a time. Let us speak together for a moment. If your heart is open to it, let these words be yours, Lord. I do not have everything figured out. I have been tired and confused and carrying things for longer than I should have been carrying them alone. I have protected myself in ways that also kept me from what I needed. I have prayed and waited and wondered if my prayers reached you. But I am here now, and I believe this moment was not an accident. I am opening my hands. I am lowering the walls, at least enough to receive what you are offering. I receive your presence. I receive your healing for what has been wounded. I receive your peace for the places that have not known quiet. I receive your direction for the steps I cannot yet see clearly. I surrender the weight I was never meant to carry alone. I choose right now to turn toward you. I trust that you see what I cannot see. I trust that this moment is the beginning of something I will not fully understand yet, but do not need to understand to receive. Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for finding this exact moment to speak. I am listening. Lead me, hold me, in your name, amen. My child, you are not the same person who began reading these words. Something shifted while you stayed. Something opened while you listened. Even if you cannot feel it yet with full clarity, even if it seems subtle at the edges, it is real. The turn has begun. The opening has happened. And what was released in this moment will not be undone by the ordinary resistance of the day ahead. What I begin, I sustain. You are seen, you are known. You are not alone in this. You never were. The life you were designed for has not moved beyond your reach. It is ahead of you, and from this moment forward you are moving toward it rather than away from it. Not because everything is now resolved, because you made a choice, and the choice is enough to begin with. Stay close to me in the days ahead. Come back to this place of honesty. Return to the reality that you cannot do this alone, and that you were never meant to. Let this moment be the beginning of a conversation that does not end here. If this found you in the exact place you needed to be found, if these words touch something real and specific inside you that you did not expect, if the truth of what was spoken today reached you in the way it was intended to reach you, type "I receive it" in the comments right now. Let that be your declaration. Let it be your commitment made visible. Let it be a marker in time that you can return to and remember. This was the moment I chose differently. Share this with someone who is carrying what they were not meant to carry alone. Someone whose soul is hungry in a way they have not named. Someone whose life looks operational from the outside while something has gone quiet on the inside. You do not need to explain why you are sending it. They will know. You are not alone. Thousands of others in this same moment are hearing the same truth, making the same turn, taking the same step. You are part of a returning that is happening across many lives at once. You belong to that. And that matters more than you know. Go forward now. Not the same, not carrying the same weight in the same direction at the same pace. Go forward turned, go forward opened, go forward knowing that the presence that spoke to you today does not end at the end of these words. It goes with you into the ordinary hours, into the difficult conversations, into the moments where the old patterns will try to reassert themselves. It goes with you, and that changes everything.